Hi, I'm Jackie. I'm the Education Materials Coordinator for Project Piaba, and today I'm going to talk to you about a wolf in sheep's clothing. There is a bill that just passed the House of Representatives called the America Competes Act, H.R. 4521. And embedded in this bill is there's a lot of stuff that looks environmentally friendly and that looks good for the economy, for the environment, and for the American people. However, there are a few pages of amendments to the Lacey Act contained on page 2060 of this document that would irreparably harm the aquarium fish industry, the pet industry, and the people who are involved in those sectors of the economy, as well as the environment in biologically important places like the Amazon. And I wanted to talk to you about that today. So the primary way that this impacts us, the Lacey Act is an old but important piece of federal legislation that's designed to protect populations of endangered animals from overexploitation and to protect native habitats and species from the risk of invasive species being imported into the United States. Right now it operates by what is functionally a blacklist, so a list of animals that cannot be imported because of their risk of invasiveness. One of the amendments to the Lacey Act would change the operation to a white list. So instead it would be a list of animals that you are allowed to import, which would be a much smaller list and would likely impact lots of species that are commonly kept as pets in the United States. So think anything that's not a cat or a dog, birds, fish, frogs, reptiles, could potentially be impacted. And it's not clear what's on that list, how that list is going to be made, how that list would ever be changed once it's made, but it's going to be different. And this is going to have a huge impact on people who are involved in this industry, so Americans whose jobs and whose businesses are involved in this. But also, let's talk about Project Piaba's work in the Amazon. We have been studying the aquarium fish fishery of the Rio Negro region for more than 30 years, and we have lots and lots of scientific data looking at those fish populations and the export of those fish. And we have some pretty solid data indicating that the populations of the fish are not negatively impacted by the fishing activity. So year to year, the number of fish that's there does not change based on the fishing activity. What does happen, so because the aquarium fish are mostly captured from the flooded forest habitat, which is hugely impacted by water level changes that are seasonal, so based on flooding and then drying off and receding of the waters, that habitat becomes available, those fish spawn, and then many of those fish don't make it back into more permanent water. They're trapped in these drying out puddles in the flooded forest. And so then those are the fish that are part of the aquarium fish trade. So rural families who live in these rural parts of the Amazon make their living by gently capturing these fish. And this is important because it has no negative impact on the fish populations, but what we have found is that it has a huge positive impact on the environment. So because of this fishing activity taking place, these people are understanding that the fishery requires a clean, healthy forest river ecosystem in order to be renewable, in order to occur year after year. And this is the thing that really drives the conservation, is because the people understand that, say, oh, I'm a fisherman, I made my living catching cardinal tetras in the flooded forest, I would like to do that again next year. So I understand that in order to do that, I need to protect the habitat that these cardinal tetras are using now and are going to use next year. And that disincentivizes environmentally destructive practices that are rampant in other parts of the Amazon, such as slash and burn farming, timber harvest, illegal gold mining, urban slum migration, and all kinds of things that are generally negative for the environment. And this is important because this is such a huge slice of the economy that drives this conservation. It's about 60% of the economy in the municipalities that participate in the fishery. And in the years between 2006 and 2015, it was about $23 million in an area that doesn't have a whole lot of other industries. And those that do exist, again, are negatively impactful on the environment. So having that money come in, all that money that us Americans, and again, we're one of the top 4 importers by value of aquarium fish from that region, our money that goes into that area in exchange for the tropical fish is providing an incentive for people to protect that environment, because they understand that the money's going to come back next year when they catch more fish, But if there's no more fish to catch because they cut down the rainforest or because bad things happen to the river, that income isn't going to be there for them. So it's a renewable, sustainable way of linking the environment to the economy that's very important. And so taking the American slice of that away by no longer importing those 250 species that are commonly exported from that fishery, you might as well just go burn it down yourself, because that is the impact that this could have on the environment there. In the Amazon, this is such a biologically important region. There are so many endangered species that live there that benefit from the habitat protection that the fishery is providing, but also it protects about 46,000 square feet of rainforest that sequesters about 7.6 billion metric tons of carbon. And that's a big number when you think about the mitigation of climate change and everything that's important to us as environmentally minded people. So it would be incredibly short-sighted to pass a piece of legislation here that would negatively impact the environment so hugely, and also negatively impact American jobs and businesses that are in the pet trade, and also negatively impact something that's brought so many people so much peace through their aquariums and their pets throughout the pandemic and elsewise. It's been very important for us to have this little slice of nature and happiness in our homes, and to take that away would be terrible. So please do me a favor and write a letter to your senators expressing how you feel about this particular piece of legislation. And right now it's unclear if they're going to vote on it the way that it's written from how it passed the House, or if they're going to reconcile it with their own bill that they came up with earlier, S-1260. It's the U.S. Innovation and Competition Act. But please express your opinion and make sure that those negative things do not get included in this final say, because that would be horrible for the aquarium fish trade, for pets and animals, and for the environment. So please write a letter and stay up to date. Check out www.pjac.org. It's the Pet Industry Joint Advisory Council. They have a lot of up-to-date information, and also usarc.org has a lot of up-to-date information. Stay tuned, stay involved. Don't count on someone else to do it, because your opinion matters. Thank you.